Hey guys, Marcus here, and just wanted to post up a video of the deck I came top 8 in at the National Qualifiers in Vancouver. As you can see, I played Vampires. I figured it was a good choice because I thought that a lot of people were going to play Rug at our regionals. I figured not a lot of people would be playing Cobblade just because they didn't want to play 7-8 rounds of it, and they didn't want to play a bunch of mirror matches, just because that's the way people in Vancouver play. I figured a lot of people would play Rug, and I figured a lot of people would play kind of mid-range-ish type, I guess, like tier 2-ish type of decks. So I figured it was either this or blue-black control, and I just went with this because I figured, that, like I said, there was going to be lots of Rug, and this deck crushes Rug. So yeah, just going to go over the deck. 4 Vampire Lacerators, 4 Pulse Strikers, 3 Visar Seer, 4 Claster Highborn, 4 Vampire Hexmage, 4 Bloodghast, 4 Gatekeeper of Malakir, 4 Lightning Bolt, 2 Stagger Shock, 2 Inquisition of Kozilek, 2 Burst Lightning, 4 Blackcleave Cliffs, 4 Dragon Skull Summit, 4 Lava Claw Reaches, 4 Marsh Flats, 1 Verdant Catacombs, and 6 Swamps. So yeah, I guess I can go over some of the cards. I guess some of the 2-ofs and some of the other choices that I decided to make. So I really wanted, at minimum, like at least just like 10 1-drops. A lot of their strategy goes behind just playing a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and then controlling the board from there. So usually you want to play a Lacerator or Pulse Striker turn 1, obviously. Visarster is fine, but I mean he's usually mid to late game, where he's actually somewhat good. But yeah, just playing turn 1 Lacerator, turn 2 guy, and then just like controlling the board with kill spells and all that stuff is usually pretty good against a lot of people. So yeah, that's about it. Visarster combos a lot with obviously Claster Highborn, Vampire Hexmage, Bloodghast, all your guys at sacrifice, and if they kill your guys, I mean you get to pay 1 with Claster Highborn, and you gain 2. They lose 2, obviously. But yeah, Visarster obviously combos with Claster Highborn and Bloodghast. You can just dump them for 2 every turn as long as you have a land. Claster Highborn, I think, is probably what makes this deck actually good. Because a lot of the times it comes down to just clogging up the board in a lot of matchups, and then you just have Visarster, Bloodghast, Claster Highborn. You can just go over and over and over. As long as you draw land, you just dump them for 2 every turn. Or, I mean, it's you just like go all in, and they make blocks, your guys die, you deal them like 6 or whatever, and you still deal them a couple damage, and that's how you just make the final push. Or obviously it's good if they just Day of Judgment you, then you could just pay a couple and they take a bunch. Vampire Hexmage is mainly just because there's lots of things with tokens, obviously. I mean, Planeswalkers, it just straight up kills them. There's Tumble Magnet, stuff like that. It's also just good. I mean, 2-1 First Strike is pretty decent versus the aggro decks. I mean, shuts down Goblin Guide, all that stuff. It's a pretty good creature in general. A lot of decks only run 2, but I mean, Gideon Jura is kind of a problem for this deck, and this just kills it straight out, and it just deals with Jace if you don't have much. Bloodghast is really good, because a lot of the main decks, like Rug and Cobblade, don't really have much to deal with Bloodghast, so he just keeps on pecking them for 2 or coming in every turn. I mean, obviously, if I'm Journey to Nowhere, then oh well, but like, this guy does a lot of damage on his own, and then, I mean, if you get him below 10 life, obviously he has haste, and then you can just continue attacking them no matter how many times you remove it. Gatekeeper is just solid, 3 mana, so they have to sacrifice a creature. It's pretty good against Rug and all the decks with Titans, because, I mean, they ramp up to Titan, and then you just Gatekeeper it away, so it's kind of irrelevant. 4 Lightning Bolts. This deck has a problem with Sword of Feast and Famine, obviously, so you need a lot of things to just shut them down from equipping it, and this does obviously quite nicely. So does Burst Lightning, so does Stagger Shock. But Lightning Bolt obviously as well kills the thing that has sword on it, because usually it's a squad or knock. Obviously Lightning Bolt's just busted anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Stagger Shock is a 2 of, because I didn't really feel like playing more of, because it's kind of expensive, it's kind of slow, but I mean, in late game, deals 4 damage, so I mean, that's always good. And in the aggro matchup, I was obviously busted because you just dome 2 of their creatures. Inquisition of Kozilek. I feel this card is really good right now. I really wanted to play more, but I just didn't really feel like I would play too much Cobblade, because basically that's the matchup where it's the best in. Because I mean, they search for a sword, you just discard it, or I mean, you can play it on turn 1, you can play it on turn 2, you can play it on turn 3, you can play it anytime, and they'll usually have a target. So I mean, they have swords, they have Squadron Hawks, they have Stoneforge Mystic, they have Condemn, Manly, etc. And I just feel like it's a really good card right now. Burst Lightning, it's just extra removal. It could be 2 more Inquisition of Kozileks. I felt it was kind of 50-50. But I definitely wouldn't fault you for just cutting these and putting more Inquisitions in, because Inquisition's really good right now. Or, obviously, the other way around. Obviously, we have 4 of each duel for the deck. You kind of need them for the red cards. You might be able to just sneak cutting Lava Cloud Reaches just because it comes to play tap for another swamp or something. But I think this is good in just general. Marsh Flats, Verdant Catacombs, it's just some snap lands for Bloodghast's effect, so you can have multiple ways of just like sacrificing this Visaris here, getting it back with a snap land, doing it again, bringing it back with a said snap land, and it just filters through your deck, obviously. And some swamps. So yeah, that's the main deck. I feel it's pretty solid. You don't really need to change it up a little bit. I mean, the only cards that I really feel you can change around are just the Stagger Shocks, the Inquisitions, and the Burst Lightnings. Other than that, I feel the deck is basically where it wants to be. So I'm gonna go over the sideboard quickly. We have 3 Vampire Nighthawks, really good against the aggro decks. If you see any, obviously. Arc Trails, also good against the aggro decks. Not really much else they're good against. That's why I wasn't maining them. I want to go for the Throat. I just need some removal against Cobblade, obviously, in response to them equipping their sword or killing their Gideon Jura. 2 Dark Tutelage. This could have been up to 3. I just put it in the last second. It's very good against the control decks because they usually have no way of dealing with it. I mean, you just constantly pump out things. 2 Doomblade. Also, it's basically the same role as Go for the Throat. Just you need more removal against some decks like Rug or Cobblade. The 3rd Inquisition. I wanted to put it to 4, but I just didn't think like I said, I wouldn't face enough Cobblade to make it worth 4. So yeah. And finally, 3 Market Mutiny. Really good against all the Titan decks like Rug, Valakut. Obviously really good against Eldrazi Green, because I mean if they play Eldrazi, you just kill them almost automatically. That happened to somebody at the tournament, and I laughed quite hard. Anyways, that's it for now. I felt the deck was pretty good. Obviously, if your metagame is full of Rug, I would suggest playing this in a heartbeat, because this deck kind of destroys Rug. I never lost to it. But yeah, I'll see you guys later.